Everyone, welcome to Sunday Prep. It's October 23rd, 2022. It's just kicking off the final week of October. Let's dive into it. So this week we got a lot of earnings coming up. Few names finishing up on Monday, but really big tech is the focus for the week. We got Microsoft, Google, both on Tuesday after close. And then Wednesday we got Meta after close. Thursday we got Shop before open, and after close, Apple and Amazon. Looking at the economic calendar, relatively light week. We got some PMI on Monday, 15 minutes after open. Consumer confidence on Tuesday, 30 minutes in. Nothing really on Wednesday, just trading goods, new home sales. But then Thursday, we got real GDP estimates, jobless claims. And then most importantly, on Friday, we have all of the personal consumer expenditures coming out an hour before open. And then 30 minutes in, we got UMISH's Consumer Sentiment Index and 5-year inflation expectations. And with that, let's look at some charts.
All right. The first thing I'm looking at when I look at ES Mother Market this month or this week is the fact that we've been trading within this range here. It's basically called 3,600 up to 3,800, 3,803 to the upside, 3,593 to the downside, to be exact. I have this identified by this darker gray shaded region here. You could extend it to the right, but it kind of gets in the way of what we're looking at. So so the first thing I'm looking for is a daily close above 3,800 and a daily close below 3,600. Once we get that close, I am thinking that that is going to signify the next directional leg in the market, aka a breakout of the squeeze, if you will, to 4,000 if we're going to the upside, or 3,400 if we do it to the downside. So if we do kind of start to reject here, come back down, roll over, and then eventually do get a close down to 3,400, and as what we're looking at, what that we're the closest to, and what probably looks the most probable would be a break and a close above, and then trying to get up towards 4,000. Now we do have very important levels up above, such as the 50, currently right out at 38.89.5. That also kind of lines with the structure, which I'll touch on in a second. And then we have another zone up here, 39.23, 39.38.5, etc. We have some other intermediate zones along the way, and I will be sharing this chart with everyone in the Discord, but I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can get a better look without me having to cover every single level. So these are all different zones or areas of pit stops on the chart that we could potentially pivot, but ultimately, I do think if we get a daily close above 3,800, we are going to put in a nice leg forward. 3,900 would be the minimum I'm looking for to the upside. So now structurally, we were trading below 2 downward structures last week. Towards the end of last week, we were trading below this structure here, this line. We were trading in this downward channel here. And through Thursday and now the Sunday's future session, we have broken and now held above this structure and way above this structure here. So structurally, the next thing I'm looking for is this line right here that stems from the highs here, connected with the highs here, and it's going to create new structure up above that if we want to break out, we can try to go test. And then in very big picture, we have another one from high of year, here, etc., etc. So do we get that type of breakout that gets us all the way up to 41, 42? I'm not sure yet, but in the short term, we do have other big term structure to deal with, and that's what I will be watching. So yeah, just to reiterate that, the first thing that I'm looking for is going to be, do we get a daily close above 3,800 tomorrow on Monday? Does Monday close above 3,800? To me, that is going to be massive. The last time we had a 3,800 test, we sold off. We broke through intraday, did not close above, and sold off. It didn't happen in one day, it actually happened in two, but we sold off pretty hard. We got back to the bottom of the zone within 3-4 days after that. So tomorrow with earnings, a lot of stuff can happen. And that's another thing where I think earnings. So looking at if we close above 3,800, I'm going to continuously look long as price action is above 3,800. That is if we get this daily close, which would, in my opinion, best come Monday or Tuesday based off of where we're at. It is very possible that we go sideways, and then get it. But more than likely, if we keep getting these closes below, we'll probably end up rolling over like we saw here. Close, roll, right? So looking for the same thing. Where would we roll? First targets to the downside would be 37, 34, where the current 21 is, or down at POC where 3686 is, are my two targets to the downside if we decide to roll. And then ultimately all the way down to 3600, and then the same rules apply down here at the bottom as they do up the top. If we can't close below, we'll probably bounce up and come back up. We do have earnings this week, as mentioned. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be volatile. Earnings can swing the market in any given direction, so that is something else to be aware of. But generally speaking, that is the roadmap. That is what I'm looking to see happen, and I'm going to digest that day by day, candle by candle. Now, there's a couple names that I wanted to point out today. With the earnings week, there's not a lot of names that I'm looking forward to playing right now. Depending on the report, how they react, and what their expected move was, it may set up a post-earnings premium crush trade that we'd love to hit in here. And if something like that sets up, then that prep would be provided at that time. But for right now, the first thing that I'm looking for is NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been trading in this downward channel here and on the daily. We have not been able to get a daily close above it. On Friday, we closed right below it. We're right at the 21. What I'm looking for is to allocate some short risk. Oops, give me 1 second. Allocate some short risk at the trend line and get the push below the 21. My targets would be 121, 118.93. That is NVIDIA. And then Tesla, not that I have a huge plan to trade it necessarily, but we do have a gap fill of about 2 points. I'm going to show you this on the daily here. We have this gap fill that we can try to fill through 215.55. We can see 217.78. So in a nutshell, that is prep. That is the two names that I actively am watching coming into this week and my thoughts on the overall market. Hope you guys have a good trading week. Trade well, and we'll see you later.